Okay, let's go.
Let's go. We're about to fill my car.
Welcome to the Foolish Wanderers podcast.
Why must I be surrounded by fools?
Welcome, Wanderer.
Hey, Wanderers! Welcome back to the Foolish Wanderers podcast. I'm Katrina,
And I'm Kendra.
and today we're going to be talking about strange old inventions. Dun, 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 dun.
The sound effects are so bad.
Well, they're homemade, so we get professional eventually.
DIY'd.
We'll get there.
The best
That's good.
kind.
It's best kind.
Best kind.
Okay, so a little backstory to the inspiration of this podcast. If you don't know, I love TikTok. I scroll through TikTok quite often, and one day I came across this glorious video of an old invention called the Pedestrian Scoop. And shared it to Kendra, and we decided it should be a podcast. So, the Pedestrian Scoop, otherwise known as the pedestrian catcher or the car catcher or the safety scoop, I spelled soup.
You put soup instead of scoop? The pedestrian soup.
And the safety soup.
That
Oh,
sounds like
no.
a cute, homeless person, like the soup kitchen.
Oh,
It's
safety.
called, the
Oh,
pedestrian soup.
oh. Well, I said the
What, you don't
safety.
like that one?
Pedestrian scoop sounds bad. The safety soup sounds a lot better.
Pedestrian soup.
Yeah, no.
Wow.
It's pretty much in the late 1800s, when automobiles started to become really popular, there was a lot of deaths resulting in pedestrians crossing and automobiles, like drivers not seeing them, and they run into them and kill them. So there's a lot of pedestrian deaths. And so, in an effort to help reduce these car deaths, in the 1930s, a bunch of inventors came up with this thing called the pedestrian scoop, or the safety scoop, the car catcher, and pretty much could be made out of metal or like a fabric, and it sat on your front bumper. And if a unlucky pedestrian walked in front of you without looking, and you obviously didn't want to hit them, so the driver would have to pull a lever, and the scoop would open up and basically catch and scoot the pedestrian out of the way from harm's way. So that way they're scooted away from the car and they wouldn't get caught or killed. And then it actually was retested in the 1970s because that was still an issue about pedestrians being hit by cars. But it got discontinued pretty quickly because the new sling version of the scoop actually caught a lot of the pedestrians in between the car hood and the sling, or like the test dummies. And so it was far too dangerous to actually use in everyday life. But yeah, so that's a little background of how this podcast came to be. We started wondering about what other strange inventions, especially older inventions, because a lot of them are comedy gold and they are fantastic. So yes, we each came up with a list of about 4 inventions, and we're gonna surprise each other with what crazy inventions we found.
I thought the pedestrian scoop could be brought back to New Orleans, like on Bourbon Street, where there's just crowds and crowds of drunk people in the streets.
That makes sense, yeah.
And yeah,
Actually,
they actually have a drunk train, they call it, where
yeah.
yeah, it's just like motorized wagon that'll come and get people that are passed out in the streets and then just put them on the back of the wagon and then just bring them to jail.
That's horrible.
So I think the pedestrian scoop could be a quicker way to
Just shove
scoop
them
up
up
the
on the back.
bodies. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds like they're dead.
I mean, they're passed out, so some of them could be dead if they're that intoxicated, right?
Oh, I mean, true, but that's really sad.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to go first with your first pick?
Yes. This is my
Okay.
first pick. It is the hangover mask.
Oh.
So it's basically like this horrifying monster mask. I don't know, creature looking thing. I don't know how to describe this thing. So the hangover mask it's made up of ice cubes to help cool the face. And this mask was said to help people that had a horrible hangover. And it was created by Max Factor in the United States in 1947. I don't really know how to describe this invention that well.
It looks like pretty much someone laid like a face mask, like a normal fabric, like a disposable like sheet mask over your face, and
Hmm.
then glued ice cubes to it. That's
Yeah.
what it looks like. Like you're just sitting there with a bunch of but it looks like they're plastic ice cubes. Like
Yeah, it kind of does. I don't know.
it's
The
like
image, she looks like Hellraiser, but without nails, it's ice cubes.
yeah, it's a little freaky.
It's
Not
f-
gonna
it's
lie.
it's scary. But
Yeah.
as we all know, there's no cure for a hangover. So this
I mean, I wouldn't know that, but
this invention is pointless.
yeah. I mean, better to try something than be sick the whole day.
I just like to imagine somebody walking down the street wearing this hideous
Oh
mask.
no. Was it meant to walk around in, or was it just to lay there?
It's probably just to lay there.
Okay, because that make more sense. Because otherwise, it'd
Hmm.
probably fall off.
Yeah.
But
She has
okay,
such a haunting look in her eye.
just a little bit. It's like
I don't know. I think she could definitely be like a movie monster. The hungover suburban wife. Dun dun
now in
dun.
theaters. Now in
Susan.
theaters.
Susan had too many Grey Goose martinis.
This horrible hangover turned her into a bloodthirsty monster the next
Hmm.
morning.
Timmy and Sally were just playing trains in the front yard until dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
The hungover suburban wife came crawling from her she shed.
I feel like this is a movie that could be made in a couple hours in someone's backyard.
Oh, a few minutes.
A few minutes.
Next one?
Yeah, next one.
Okay,
Okay,
here we
my turn.
go.
So my first invention is a wooden swimsuit. This was popular in the 1930s. It was actually more of like a publicity stunt for like the wood industry, specifically the Gray Harbor lumber industry. They called them the Spruce Girls, and these swimsuits were made from thin veneer strips. Pretty much a DIY project is how they described it. Cheap, easy, supposedly durable, didn't break very easily. Yeah, they said that they're cheap, easy to make, while still being fashionable and modern. And then actually really buoyant, and so it helped to encourage timid swimmers to go for a dip. But yes, there's a little bit of ingenuity there.
It's
Try to use something
hideous.
a little bit, yeah. It looks kind of like a wine barrel that you shape to your body with like
Yeah,
a
it
swimsuit.
literally looks like a wine barrel
Yeah, it's the strips.
with some
The strips.
suspenders.
Yeah, it looks like
Who
probably like
thought
an
of
elastic or
this?
something. The lumber industry, the Gray Harbor lumber industry in 1929.
Well, th-
It was their ad campaign.
that was their ad campaign.
Yeah, the Spruce Girls.
The Spruce Girls. So instead of the
The
Spruce
Spruce.
Goose airplane, it was the Spruce Girls.
Yes.
I'm not into the wooden swimsuits. We'd get splinters in horrible places.
Oh no, don't think about that. I don't want to
That
think
was my
about
first
that.
concern.
And the first thing that comes to mind is
A
splinters
shish
in a man.
kebab titty. That's what I thought of.
Oh no.
That could be fatal. An infection.
That's true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just are there videos of them like just like floating there and just but they can't like move their arms.
Well, there's
So
nothing
they
on their arm, so it's just their body.
oh, I see that. But like I just imagine them like floating like when a turtle's on its back and they can't like move. They're like, "Help me."
Supposedly, they're actually pretty comfortable and like easy to move in, but it's because it says that
Oh, supposedly.
supposedly, yeah. I
Mhm.
don't think I couldn't find any videos of it, but I found a lot of pictures. So it seems to be all of the same girls, which makes sense because it's just a ad campaign.
Plus it's the Spruce Girls.
The Spruce Girls,
Hmm.
yes.
I think that the Sports Illustrated swimsuit magazine should do the wooden bathing suits for
Oh yeah, they need to up their game. Get some
yeah.
Spruce Girls in there and front cover. Oh yeah, eco-friendly swimsuits.
That eco-friendly swimsuits. There you go.
We just gave you an idea.
Okay.
Okay, ready for the next one?
Amazing. Yes, I'm ready for the next one.
Okay.
Okay. So the next one is the chain smoker invention. So you you want to smoke a whole pack of cigarettes at once? Well, now you can with the chain smoker. If one cigarette didn't offer enough of a nicotine fix, smokers could inhale from 10 cigarettes at once with this chain smoker device. The device might appall doctors today, but remember in the mid 20th century, physicians were proponents of smoking.
That's crazy.
So this thing is this huge, long looking like pipe, like skinny, big long cigarette, and then there's little like branches in V shapes to there's like lines of 10, and then you just kind of like insert stick the cigarette in these little V-shaped rods, like standing rods on this big long cigarette, and then you just light them all at once and then just inhale.
How much nicotine do you need at one time if you're smoking 20 cigarettes at
I
one
don't want
time?
to know, but the model in the picture is definitely dead.
Well, I mean, it was the 20s, and she's probably 20 there, so yeah, I'd say she's probably probably not alive anymore. But was this
She
a
knows.
popular thing, or was it just the?
No, this was not
Okay,
popular at all. This was just like some weird little invention that somebody made.
okay,
Yeah, no, this model has died like 10 minutes after smoking like 20 cigarettes at once.
that's crazy. Like, how would you light them all then? Is it just like light them all individually and just like inhale the smoke from?
I have no idea because you're supposed to like when you light a cigarette, you're supposed to like puff it, like inhale, like
Uh-huh.
to try and like get it going because it needs like oxygen and
Oh.
stuff going. Like I have no idea how they get that working. I imagine you have like your 5 children come with like matches and just start lighting.
Just like light them up, children. It's
Yeah,
time for a smoke, and
yeah.
then get
She's like,
secondhand
yeah. She's
smoke
like,
addiction.
kids, I want my cigarettes. Come light them.
Second pack for the day. Oh
Oh,
man.
but I thought that was a weird little invention that I'm glad doesn't exist.
Yeah, could you imagine people walking down the street with these things and just having like their huge like
No, because it's a fire hazard.
oh yeah, you'd be catching things on fire left and right.
Oh,
Literally
constantly. I
just
mean,
swing back and
the
forth.
if you zoom into the image and you look at the cigarettes, look how much ash.
Yeah, that's true. Don't you have to like tap off the
Yeah, I
ash and
have to
stuff?
like flick the ash a little, like tap it off. I
Oh
think
man.
they should make one like a version of this for vapes.
I don't think we need that kind
That
of
would be
destruction right now.
cool. You would look like a dragon. Can you imagine like all like that
Well, not a healthy dragon.
like like the vape smoke, like you just look like a dragon. It'd be dramatic. It'd be cool.
Very, very dramatic, and you probably choke out the next person behind you. Remember walking remember walking in on campus and then people when vapes were huge, and you'd walk
Oh,
behind
there's
somebody and
still
they
a
light
big
up.
thing.
Yeah. But you walk behind somebody and they just puff out a bunch of whatever flavor and you'd be like, "Oh, it smells like cotton candy." It's like,
Yeah, it's
this
very
is fun.
odd to be walking through like a park and all of a sudden you go through a cloud of cotton candy when
It's a little
like
unsettling, yeah.
when there's none around.
Am I in a theme park now?
Yeah, you're like, what?
Okay, next one.
Next one.
Like
Oh no, no.
so this one is a fun invention for Kendra because in
No,
case you
it's
don't know,
not.
Kendra absolutely hates birds,
I
any and all
am
birds.
deeply afraid of birds.
Yeah, but this
Deeply
one,
afraid of them.
this invention, you can scroll to the next one if you don't want to look at this stunning radical chicken. So, so this invention is actually to prevent chicken murder, chicken
What?
cannibalism.
See, this sounds like
Yeah,
what something that chickens would do.
yeah.
Cannibals.
So from just basic research of what I've done from chicken farming, it's when you have a bunch of chickens in like a smaller space, they a lot of times they can decide to gang up on one chicken, and if they
That
start
sounds about
pecking at that,
right.
yeah, if they see one chicken pecking at one chicken and they see blood, then they all go for that one chicken. So then they peck and kill that chicken. So this was in an attempt to help call or like stop chicken murder. Um, so in the early 1900s, this is when rose-colored chicken glasses became very popular. They're manufactured by the thousands, hundreds of thousands, and basically the one that I have that I'll put up on Instagram, they look like little aviator glasses, but for chickens. They like slide over their beak and they're rose-colored. So that way, they're kind of like blinders in a way. So that way, it distorts the bird's vision so they don't directly see the chicken in front of it, so they don't feel like they have to attack it. And also, the red color disguises a sight of blood, so they don't decide that they want to attack this chicken, the poor wounded chicken. So yeah, this is one of the inventions. I actually saw this first. It was on Storage Wars, and like they found a bunch of old chicken glasses. There's little tiny little things, and yeah, some people still use them today. Otherwise, other things like larger spaces for the chickens, or putting a lot of farmers put chickens in their own cages, so that way it also helps diminish the amount of chicken murder. But yeah,
Man, I had no idea that chicken murder was a what is it?
a problem, an issue.
No, I had no idea that chicken murder was like a pandemic. No, epidemic. That's what I want. That's what
Yeah.
I want. The chicken murder epidemic. Jeez.
Well, don't you eat a lot of chicken nuggets?
Not anymore. I've been taking a
Oh,
break.
really?
Yeah, I've been taking a
Oh,
break.
oh, okay.
A lot more sandwiches now.
That's probably good.
Hmm.
Probably healthier. Yeah.
Man, people wonder why I'm scared of them.
Yeah.
They'll
Well,
literally peck each other to death.
yeah.
And then, wait, is the cannibalism part real? Like, do they?
I believe so. That's what I read in the articles that I read. But I don't know how common that is, but they do peck each other to death, like the weaker chickens, and if they're wounded, so like 'cause they don't want them a part of their flock. But
So such great animals. Oh, so
oh yes,
thoughtful and kind,
oh yes.
non-violent things. Okay, we move on now. Pivot.
Pivot away from that.
Pivot away
Okay,
from the.
right.
Okay.
Pivot.
Then on a lighter note, this invention is called the butter protector.
Oh, I saw this one. I actually have something like on this. Yeah.
Hmm. So, what could be more embarrassing in the 1950s than accidentally dragging your sleeve through a stick of butter as you reach across the table? Well, American amateur inventor Russell E. Oakes solved that problem with the spider like gadget. Today's diners solve this issue with the luxurious covered butter keepers. So, this like butter keeper, it looks like a spider.
It looks like one of those head scratchers. So you just like spread out and put over a piece of
Yeah.
butter.
Okay, that's a way better description of this invention. But yeah, it was like one of those head scratchers, and you basically just put it over butter on the dining table because everybody's had that really common problem where
Oh, of
reach
course.
across the table and you get your sleeve full of butter. I mean, that
Oh, of
happens
course.
on the regular for me.
Of course. Every Thanksgiving doesn't complete it without your sleeve being full of butter. It's a
Hmm.
tradition.
I've had the butter protector on my Christmas list for probably 7 years now. My dream has still not come true.
Can you even buy this thing?
No, I
Didn't
don't
he
know.
just
I
make
hope
like a lot
not.
of like gag like inventions?
That Russell E. Oakes.
Hmm.
Yeah, he did. There was another one that I saw, but I don't remember what it was when I was doing research for this. Okay, it's your turn now.
My
Oh,
turn.
this one was cool. I've seen these
Yeah,
before. I
this one.
think this would be really
Oh,
cool to
really?
have. Yeah.
It's actually a really cool invention. So, in the 1960s, Goodyear wanted to create the tire of tomorrow. And basically, they hired a couple of their chemists to create um, new compound that would allow them to create a tubeless and cordless tire. It was also semi-translucent, so it could be dyed a plethora of different colors. And then they also outfitted it with 18 little lights on the inside, so it'd light up your tire. It'd glow like the color that you dyed the tire. But yeah, so they're a super cool invention. I didn't know these existed until we, well, any of these existed until we started researching this stuff. But yeah, this would be really cool if it actually was still around. I'd love to have them, but they were a safety hazard because the treads weren't really existent. So on rainy days, like you basically didn't have
Oh,
any like traction.
jeez. Yeah, you'd be like a pig
Yeah,
on ice.
pretty much. And then,
You would look so cool as you spun out in your
oh
neon
man,
pink tires.
your neon pink. They actually marketed it so that way you could change the color of your tires to match your wife's outfit of the day. That was one of their selling points. I was like, okay. But yeah, another downfall of them was the price because they were insanely expensive. And then also the fact that you could go a couple miles with your bright, shiny new, brand new tires, and then they get covered in dust because the compound attracted dust and it'd cover up the color and the lights. So it kind of became useless after a few miles. But
Mm.
still really cool. And I'd love to have like a version of this nowadays if it was actually safe and not like it wouldn't make me spin out on a rainy day. But yeah.
Pimps and rappers would love this and would love these tires. They
Oh
would
yeah.
love them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it looks cool.
They look really cool. There was like I saw an article too about a guy actually on the car on the top left that refurbished and restored an old car and like basically got these old tires working again. So it was really cool just to see him. And I think he rode downtown like some big city with it. Yeah.
They must not have a lot of these left because I've never seen them in real life before. And I
Yeah, I
go to
think
I go to a lot of car shows.
hmm I think what happened. I think it was too expensive to keep making a lot of them, so they never became like an actual product you could buy. It was just like a thought and like a ad
Oh,
campaign.
okay.
So because they were gonna make it a real thing, but there's a lot of safety issues and then the money.
Gotcha,
So
gotcha.
yeah.
Still very cool. Illuminated
Oh yeah.
car tires.
Heck
I
yeah.
like it. Okay,
Yeah.
this next invention of mine that I found is not very cool.
Oh no. No. Okay.
So so Katrina, can you describe what you're looking at?
Do I want to? I don't know.
I think
So
you
what Kendra her next invention is pretty much modeled after a female anatomy part that looks like it's hooked up to a little portable speaker. So yeah, take it away, Kendra. What is this?
They're for your bazingas. So this is called the beating breasts. That's his name. So
Okay.
they're from Japan. It's a Japanese invention.
Okay.
So they're from 1963. So they're artificial breasts, and the device was created to like lull like babies to sleep. So these like silicon like boobies had like a built had like they have a built-in heartbeat. So then it was like it's meant to be a sleeping aid for like young kids
Like I
and
get the
babies.
concept. Yeah. I get the concept. It still exists today. It's just the shape that's a little weird.
It freaks me out because I don't really get it. Like, is it like a lovey? Like the babies sleep with a silicon boob in the crib? Or are they latched on? Like it wouldn't make any sense for them to be latched on to the titty
No.
because nothing comes out.
I think it's just a sound, and it must be just like I don't know. I suppose I
But
could
like
lay on it,
what do you do? You lay
but
on it? I don't
I
know.
don't know. I've never
I
seen this thing
couldn't
before, so
I couldn't find any more like that much more information on this, but I thought it was funny. Just these like vibrating titties.
Oh man, I think yeah, 'cause they have like toys, like regular like stuffed animals and stuff they have in cribs now. They do the exact
Yeah,
same.
they made it a lot more kid friendly.
Oh
More
yeah.
PG. More
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Not like rated R looking like boobs vibrating in people's cribs.
Oh no.
Blah. Okay. Next
Pivot.
one.
Pivot. Okay, so my next one is kind of going off of Kendra's butter protector. This guy, Russell E. Oakes, as we mentioned before, he was an inventor of a plethora of interesting and like pretty much gag inventions. So I have a spread of four of his different inventions, including the butter protector. He also invented things such as the donut dunker, that prevents the horrific event of your donut dipping on one's fingers after it's been dunked into coffee.
Wait,
And then
so
it's
it,
like so this one's like it looks like an old telephone, like the one you hold up to your ear and then have the piece that's up to your mouth.
mhm.
It's like that, but it's like the stem of that, but then there's like a lever that you stick, like a fork that you stick your donut onto, and a lever that dunks it into the coffee, and you put it in your mouth with the same lever. It's weird. I'll post pictures of all these on Instagram so you guys can see what we're talking about.
Does he
Because
make money off of these?
I don't know. That's a good question, but I don't really know.
Why do I feel like this guy was just like a greeter at Walmart and then did this in his spare time?
Well, I think wasn't he in like a salesman kind of or like an
I
advertising guy?
don't know. I didn't like
So he
read too
must have
much into his life.
yeah. So I think he must have some money, and he just had fun
If
inventing these
I
things.
if I Google him and I find out that he worked as a Walmart greeter, I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna laugh and then I'm gonna go out and buy a lottery ticket.
Oh, there you go. And and he also invented other ones such as the pop at you, which is a toaster that ejects the toast forcefully and horizontally. So basically, out at you and hits you in the face to wake you up. And then also, one of my absolute favorites of his, the mechanical soup spoon, intended for dinner parties, which the hostess serves inedible soup. And the horrid soup would drain down through the hollow handle, down a tube, down your leg, into a bottle where it is collected. And then the foul odors would be blown away by the attached propeller. And then supposedly the hostess would think the propeller is only for blowing away the steam and cooling off the soup. And that way she wouldn't be offended by you not liking your soup, so you'd hide it in your pant leg,
Oh,
and she'd be none the
so
wiser.
so smart. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, I haven't found much on him, but it does say that he was an amateur American inventor. So, there isn't
Okay.
proof that he was not a Walmart greeter.
What year did was Walmart brought in?
I
Was it?
think the 70s. I don't know. Let me Google
So
this.
this is like way before Walmart was even a thing.
He could, I don't know.
You could be a time traveler,
It
come
was
back and just make
founded
inventions.
in 1962 and incorporated in 1969.
Okay, but yeah, I think he wasn't he inventing things in like the 30s?
Yeah, so.
So, but but yeah, I get that vibe.
Mhm. Okay, I'm gonna do my last one. This is the stamp licker.
Oh,
So, when you're sending such a massive amount of correspondence that licking stamps becomes more exhausting than a marathon, this invention may come in handy. Coming in multiple forms, this device wet the glue on the stamp without the use of saliva, so no one so here you go. So one could make the stamp stick without having to make use of their tongue. In an era where written documents were still the most common form of communication, this device, despite its unusual form and purpose, certainly had a place in the average household. So this
interesting.
is like in the 1800s. So when this device came out. So yeah, you could when it says different forms, you could get like different heads for like
Oh,
so the image that I have is like a doggy and then the dog's like then the doggy's tongue like licks the envelope to get the
is it like a sponge then? Like,
yeah, it's like a brush
okay.
and then you like press down on like the top of it to get the water going up and then wet wet wet.
I mean, it's kind of smart, especially for right now in our current pandemic situation. It's probably smarter to do it that way, but
Yeah, it was kind of cool. I thought it was funny because if George Costanza's fiance in the TV show Seinfeld, if she would have had this invention, she wouldn't have died from what is it? Stamp poison. Stamp
uh,
poisoning?
what?
So in Seinfeld, the character George, he had his fiance Susan and she was licking out all these invitations to for their wedding
Okay,
and George
okay.
bought really cheap envelopes and stamps and everything
Oh
and she was licking all of these and she
no.
ended up like dying from like the envelope adhesive was poisonous and she like
What
was
the
licking
heck?
she licked too
Oh
many and she
no.
died that way.
Oh.
It sounds sad but it was really funny.
Well, I'm glad it was funny.
So I was like, too bad Susan didn't have this.
Ready for my last one?
Yes, yes, yes.
Alright, so my last one is the deadly electric tablecloth. So, in
What?
the early 1900s, in Elizabethan times, or is it Edwardian? Edwardian? Yeah, I don't know.
Is it
So,
Edwardian
I
or
think
is
it's
it
Edwardian.
Elizabeth?
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of the two.
I think I bet it's Edwardian because
Edwardian.
Elizabethan would be like the 1400s.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Edward. I think
I
it's
suck at
Edwardian.
that.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, it's
that sounds
Edwardian. If it's 1902 it'd be King Edward,
right. Okay.
I think. Don't quote me on any of this. I don't know.
So In 1902, Mr. Henry Cooper invented the self-illuminating tablecloth. This is when electricity became widespread throughout homes, like your average homes, and people it was like a novelty, and people did a lot of like interesting things like overused wires and very frequently electrocuted themselves. But they had a lot of fun inventing things, and one of these inventions was the electric tablecloth. So pretty much there's a little prongs, like you set out your tablecloth. It's made of two like big pieces of felt, sandwiching an electrical circuit, and then there's little prongs where you plug in your lamps at. So you basically stab these lamps into the tablecloth, and then since the current is still like constant and plugged into the wall, the light would light up as soon as you stabbed it into the tablecloth, which is fine and fun and dandy until you spill anything on it and you electrocute yourself. So,
And then your dinner party becomes a shocking success.
oh no, a murder mystery party. It's just thank you. But yes, that is my last one. I
I
couldn't find a lot on this one, surprisingly, but
thank
there
God that
was.
means it wasn't popular.
Yeah, it's there was a lot of articles about people like because they used to have was it uninsulated wires like overloaded and like they touch them and people would get electrocuted constantly. So from all these from all these inventions. And yeah, so that was a pretty common thing, sadly, back then. But yeah,
It looks
that's
really pretty
yeah, it does.
until, you die.
Until you
Because you
touch it.
spilt, like, milk on the table.
Yeah, it's not fun.
No.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining us again here at the Foolish Wanderers podcast. Please follow us on Foolish Wanderers podcast on Instagram, and we also just started a YouTube channel where we're going to post all of our podcasts and then sometimes some extra little things, maybe animations. We don't know yet,
We
but like
don't
little
know yet.
we don't know. So keep an eye out for all that fun stuff. And until next time, bye!
Bye.
I have to show you this TikTok. I found another TikTok of a fat chicken running. It's great.
It's not that huge chicken, that, like, Russian chicken that comes out of that coop and it looks like it's 5 feet tall, right?
What? I haven't seen
Have you
that
seen
chicken.
that video?
No.
It's like this Russian chicken, and it comes out of its little hen house coop, and it looks like somebody, like a human in a chicken costume.
Oh, I don't like that.
It's
Unless it's
scary.
just a fat white chicken running.
And they'll look up like giant chicken.
Is it the Jersey giant chickens?
I don't know. I just know the video, like, it's a white chicken.
Okay, it's like a black feather butt,
Yep,
black tail.
yep,
Okay.
yep, yep.
Huh.
It's huge.
It is big.
It's scary. And it
Hmm.
will kill your toddler. I don't
What?
know that for certain. I'm just saying it might.
This is Kendra's fear. Just
No,
a
my
Kendra fear.
biggest fear about birds is I have been told it's irrational, and I know that it is. But I think that, like, the pressure system will change and it'll be extremely low, and birds, when the pressure system is low in the sky, the birds tend to fly lower to the ground.
Okay.
I think I will be out, like, this is my death. I think this is how I'm gonna die. Like, I'm gonna be, like, out walking on the sidewalk, and the pressure system's gonna, like, drop extremely low, and then all of a sudden, I'm just gonna get, like, stabbed in the neck by, like, a flying crow.